There's a problem also when you go the extreme route and try to play it safe. Why? Because sometimes there are life-defining, changing moments that will alter the course of your financial destiny, that will alter the course of your trajectory in your career and in your business if you try to take the risks right now. Hey guys, so I'm 38 years old. I'm turning 39 this September. I'm hearing 40 years old. I'm getting old already. In this video, I want to talk about things that you would consider as you start getting older, as you hit your 40s versus the things that you would consider when you were in your 20s. And I hope that this hits you if you are in your 20s, so that it motivates you to do what you need to do in your 20s, so that it helps you also to know the things that you need to know way before you hit your 40s. And if you're in your 40s also, I hope that it helps you also. I don't know if there needs to be certain things that you need to shift and pivot in terms of your finances. Of course, if you're younger also, and majority of us naman na wala naman tayong minanaw, we didn't get anything and we have to either work hard for what we have, or we needed to either hustle hard or needed to be madiskarte to be able to do a lot of stuff. What I've realized when I was in my 20s more, it was all about focusing on what can I do to earn more? What could be the growth patterns? How will I be as aggressive as possible? It was about taking more risks also. But right now also nearing my 40s, I still take risks. Even in investments, I've actually been taking more risks right now than when I was in my 20s. But I guess I've been more cautious in my 20s. I would think that if everything goes to zero or if I lose my job, I have a fallback plan. I don't have a wife, I don't have a kid or kids or other family members that are relying on me. Versus when you get older, when you approach your 40s, you tend to realize that when you get older, there are more people that are relying on you. It's okay to take risks, but it has to be more calculated, and you can't go to zero anymore. Because when you go to zero, you're not just affecting your life, you're affecting other people's lives. When you're in your 20s, when you make a mistake, it's easier to bounce back when your salary is not as high. It's easier to find opportunities when people will get you as a fresh grad because they know they can mold you. You have a lot of potential and you can flip and flop and choose different industries where you could actually go. But when you are in your 40s already, it tends to get harder because the skills that you've developed is somehow skewed already towards a certain direction. But here's the thing, when you're in your 40s also, because your skills and your experience is skewed over a certain direction, you get to command a higher rate regardless if you're a consultant, you're a manager, you're an employee, in whatever you're doing, because you've already developed a set of skills, you get to be paid higher based on the niche that you've actually have. But there will always be a part of you already that will be more conservative. You always think about that it shouldn't go to zero, because if it goes to zero, how will I take it all back? How will I bounce back from all of this? How will I recoup all of this? And you also think about that when you're nearing 40, you're closer to 60 and 70 already, and your capacity to be able to earn in your 60s and your 70s is not the same as your capacity to earn in your 20s and your 30s also. And that, I think, fuels a level of conservatism in the way I would analyze things, that it's okay for me not to get as much of this upside as long as I don't get as much of this downside also. But when I was younger, I would always think, what can I do that in spite of the risk that this could give me enough upside, that even if it gives me enough downside, I'm okay because I have a large room to make mistakes, I have a large runway, and I have fallback plans, and there's not a lot of people relying on me. I guess what I'm saying is this: the younger you are and you're watching this, you're in your 20s, take as much risk as possible. Don't be scared. I know I've talked a lot about these are the investments that are risky. I've talked about that, okay, when you go in business that could actually lose everything. But when you're in your 20s and not a lot of people are relying on you, there's not a lot of stakes on the line, you're not actually betting your life savings on yet, because you don't have a lot of life savings yet, you don't have a wife, you don't have a kid yet. It might be easier for you to take as much risk as possible. But when you're older, you have to temper it in a way that it's not just about making more, it's not just about growing more of what you have, but it's also maintaining it, that when things go bad, whatever you saved, whatever you accumulated, that doesn't go to zero, that it still stays there, that you have something that allows you to maintain what you worked hard for. I've met a lot of people when I was in my mid-20s who were in their 30s and who were in their 40s also, that were a bit conservative, super conservative, that they didn't want to take any risk, that they tried to play it safe also. There's a problem also when you go the extreme route and try to play it safe. Why? Because sometimes there are life-defining, life-changing moments that will alter the course of your financial destiny, that will alter the course of your trajectory in your career and in your business if you try to take the risks right now. Because if you don't take the risks head on, and if you try to play it safe all the time, there's no upside there. It's true that you get something that's fixed. You get something that no matter what happens, you will be okay. What about your grander dreams? What about the things that you also want to achieve? If you wait too long, the thing about that is you don't know. You don't know how long you live. But if there's one thing that this pandemic has shown us, if you could save as much as you can invest as much as you can project living until 60, 70, 80, 90. But what if you don't hit whatever you're targeting? There has to be a point also where you take the leap. Put yourself at a point where you also feel alive, that you enjoy what you're doing, that you take the risks also. It's okay to seek discomfort. It's okay to take risks as long as it's calculated, as long as those risks also, when you make a mistake, it won't totally wipe you out. That playing it safe, not taking any risks, not going into that investment, not going into that business because you're scared about it, will cripple you more than the ones that are super aggressive, trying to take as much risk as possible. So you have to be in the middle. You can't be super aggressive all the time, that when you make a mistake, it wipes you out, and you can't play it safe all the time, that you lose a lot of that upside. You lose the ability to be financially free. You lose the ability to be able to live life at your own terms. You lose the ability to be able that if you want to stop, you want to quit in your 30s, in your 40s, that you actually can. That you don't have to wait until you're in your 60s before you get to do the things that you want. Financial freedom isn't the Lambo, it isn't the yacht, it isn't the mansion. It's about doing what you want when you want. It's about living life at your own terms. And we all have our own definition of what living your life at your own terms mean. It could be eating out, it could be traveling, it could be buying this. It doesn't matter what your neighbor, your friend, your family member, your office mate is buying with their stuff, because maybe that's their goal, that's their plan. You just have to focus on you. You just have to focus on what works for you. You just have to focus on what defines you. What are the things that make you feel alive? That's what matters, especially if you're saving, hustling, investing for your future. Just to put this to a close, 40s allowed me to take more risk because I have a buffer, I've had savings, I've developed skills also. But in the same way, it pushed me also to become more conservative, to think about what if the worst case would happen. But in the same way, in spite of those fears, in spite of those risks, I have to realize that I still have to also push on, because life also should go on and you mustn't be stuck where you are. Because if you're stuck, you're wasting your life and you don't know how long it would be. What matters is you enjoy it also right now, in the middle, balance, that you don't wipe yourself out, but you're also not playing it too safe. I guess that's it. If you stayed up until the end, if you like stuff like this, like, share, subscribe, smash the bell so you get updated. You get notified by YouTube every time it pops up. If you want to know more about different investing videos I have, they're in the description below. I've written 5 books. They're also down below as well. And if you have any questions, put it in the comment section. I'll try my best to be able to answer you in the next videos that I have. That's it for now. Marvingermo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon. God bless you all.